Suffering well, counting the cost. That sounds like a fun topic, doesn't it? Well, that's what our topic is for this week as we continue in our sermon series titled, No Matter What. Why do we want to talk about suffering in the first place, and what in the world does it mean to count the cost or to suffer well? I mean, talk about two concepts that just don't seem to go together at all. Well, the truth of the matter is that we're all going to experience suffering. We all experience relational problems. We all experience financial challenges. We all experience the loss of friends and loved ones, and we have bad medical reports, and we have various heartaches and issues that are just out of our control. You know, how we deal with these inevitable issues will help define us as we mature and grow. Now, if you noticed, our text was pretty lengthy this week. It was found in 1 Peter chapter 4, and it was verses 1 through 19. And I want to look at just a few of those verses for our thoughts here today. In fact, let's look at verses 12 and 13. It says in verse 12, "Dear friends, don't be surprised at the fiery trials that you're going through as if something strange were happening to you. Instead, be very glad, for these trials make you partners with Christ in his suffering, so that you will have the wonderful joy of seeing his glory when it's revealed to all the world." Now, verse 12 is kind of an interesting verse. Don't be surprised at the fiery trials or challenges or times of suffering that you're going through. Yet, isn't that how we sometimes act? You know, something bad happens and we act like God is some cruel and inhumane person to allow us to go through tough times. What kind of God would allow bad things to happen to good people anyway? Well, verse 13 is a bit sobering because it tells us that instead of acting shocked or getting mad or depressed in times of suffering, we should be glad. What kind of advice is that? Well, it turns out it's great advice. There are, believe it or not, some real benefits to experiencing challenges in life. Let me illustrate. Have any of you ever had a caterpillar and you saw it enter into its cocoon and then transform into this amazing butterfly? And also, perhaps you've heard about the man that saw the butterfly struggling to extricate itself from the cocoon. So he did what he thought was a helpful thing. He carefully slit the cocoon so that the butterfly could drop out of the cocoon without having to go through all of this trouble and wrestling out of the cocoon. But unfortunately, when the butterfly emerged, its experience, it had withered wings that couldn't fly. You see, the butterfly needed the struggle to help force fluid into its wings to stretch and open them to enable him to fly. And by eliminating the struggle, it actually harmed the butterfly. Well, we face struggles and challenges as well. And it might be really tempting to just be able to, think if I could just snap my fingers and avoid all trials, that would be great. But that's not a great long-term solution for us. You see, struggles can be very helpful for us. It's in our struggles that we learn humility. We learn about grace. We learn dependence upon God and others. We learn that life is about more than just ourselves. And our passage also says that trials make us partners with Jesus Christ in his suffering. Jesus wasn't immune to suffering, and he knows just what we need to overcome it. And you're never alone. Let me close with the words of verse 19, which says, "So if you are suffering in a manner that pleases God, keep on doing what is right, and trust your lives to the God who created you, for he will never fail you."